everybody, in this video I'll show you how to texture paint in Blender game engine. So what I have prepared here is a basic terrain with some walls and nothing special. So now we need to create a new material by going in the materials tab and clicking on new. I can name the material whatever I want. It can be any name, it doesn't matter. So to block the reflection, we need to change the specular intensity to 0. Okay, so now go to texture tab and create a new texture layer. I'm going to use grass, but we don't have the grass texture yet, so go to the website called textures.com. Textures.com is the updated website of CG Textures. You can create an account for free and download textures, and you can use those textures in your game. So in this case, I'm going to search for grass texture. Okay, so I'll choose this texture and download. It's gonna take a couple of seconds. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to grab this and put it in a folder. I'm going to name this grass. Okay, so now we need to import the texture into Blender. So now we can't see the texture because we need to unwrap the terrain or Smart UV project. So to do this is go to edit mode, select all your faces, press U and Smart UV project. Click OK. So we can see our texture, but it doesn't look good. It's like bad quality. So scroll down until you see the mapping layer. Open it and you can see a feature called size, and that will adjust the size of your texture. So if you increase it, the quality of your texture will look like more realistic and more high quality stuff, you know. So I changed the X and Y 5x5. However, if you change the Z, it wouldn't affect anything. There's no difference. So keep the Z at 1. Just change the X and Y. So now we have our grass texture, but we need to paint other textures as well. Whew. So deep breath. So open the UV image editor and create a new image. You can name this image whatever you want. I'm going to name this stencil. Click OK. Now you can see a star next to the image. That's telling us that the image is not saved. To save the image, you have to click on the image text and pack as PNG. So whenever you make changes, the star will appear. So create a new texture layer. I'm gonna name this the same name of the image, stencil. I'm going to load the stencil image. Scroll down and uncheck color, check RGB intensity and stencil. So now we need another texture. I'm going to use a sand texture. It can be any texture you want. So this is going to be sand. So we'll go back to textures.com and search for sand texture. I'm going to choose this texture and download. Okay, I'm going to grab the file. I'm going to rename it to sand. And now open the file. Okay, so we can see the our sand texture because the stencil layer is covering our grass, and that stencil is not visible because we unchecked color. So that's why the sand is not visible. So anyways, we'll get back to that. Once you imported the sand texture, you can also scale the size of the texture 5 by 5 or 10 by 10. Okay, so now we need to texture paint our sand. To do that, change from object mode to texture paint. And on the top left, you can see a layer called slots. Click on that and change the painting mode to image. Choose the canvas image stencil. Go back to tools. I'm going to change the strength to 1. And you can also press F to scale up your brush. And now you can paint here. Now the good thing about using this method is that you can scale up the textures in the mapping layer, which allows us to have a high quality textures on a huge terrain, which is very useful. So I'm going to take some time, just texture paint those walls, just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. I'm gonna paint those tiny walls, and no. Okay. So we have our sand texture. Now, as I said before, whenever you make changes, this star will appear. So if I save it again, pack as PNG, and if I texture paint again, the star will appear because I made changes. So make sure you pack as PNG all the time. So, and also go to File and go to External Data and click on Automatically Pack into Blend Files. What this does is it will pack all your textures, sounds, and textures and sounds into your .blend file. So if you change the destination of the texture file, it won't matter because Blender has made a copy of that texture in the .blend file. So you don't need to worry about changing destinations. So everything will be saved into the blend file. So we painted the sand texture, and now we need another texture. To do that, we need to create another stencil layer. I'm going to name this stencil 2. I'm going to create a new image again and name this stencil 2. I'm going to click on pack as PNG, save the file, and we need to import another texture. I'm going to put stone texture. It doesn't matter really. I'm going to search for stone in textures.com, and I'm going to choose that texture and download. Okay, I'm going to get it here. Rename the stone just to keep the name simple, and I'm going to open the stone file. Okay, so as you can see, the stone appears. So what we have to do is go to stencil 2 layer, choose the stencil 2 image, and uncheck color. Now the stone is covering the whole sand layer, so uncheck color, RGB to intensity, and stencil. Now it's gone because we need to paint the texture, not covering the whole model. So we have the stone, and I'm going to scale this 5 by 5, and now go to texture paint layer, which we already are, and now go to the slots and change the stencil to stencil 2 because we are painting stone. So if we want to paint on the grass texture, we can't because the sand is covering this grass layer, so we have to paint on the covering layer. So you can only paint on the sand, just like that. Okay, a bit here and here. Okay, that looks pretty good right now. So we made changes, so click on image and pack as PNG to pack the image. I'm gonna go to object mode. Now if you want to add another image, create another stencil, name it stencil 3 and put any texture. So the third texture that you want to paint will be only painted on the stone layer. So this process keeps on repeating and repeating. The more you add the texture, the more you have to add layers. So that's basically it, guys. I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you next time.